But the man most likely to succeed was Frenchman Jacques Laffite in the Ligier, who'd been fastest in practice by far. So, Laffite in pole position, René Arnoux second, Pironi in the Ligier third, Alan Jones fourth, then Carlos Reutemann. Sixth, Jabouille's Renault, seventh, Alain Prost's McLaren, and eighth, the championship leader, Nelson Piquet. 24 on the grid for the 54-lap, 195-mile French Grand Prix. And as they surged away, Jacques Laffite exploited his pole position to take the lead, ahead of Arnoux, with Pironi third, Alan Jones fourth, Reutemann fifth, and Piquet sixth. And at the Verrerie-Benz, it was still Arnoux second, but not for long. Pironi took him on the bend to make it Ligier's first and second, and the Renault third. And in fourth place, it was Alan Jones ahead of Carlos Reutemann, with Alain Prost a magnificent sixth, and Nelson Piquet in the Brabham Ford in seventh place. Keke Rosberg last in the Fittipaldi, and then down the Mistral straight. Jacques Laffite seemed to be extending his lead, but it was Arnoux back into second place, although Pironi retook that vital position on the bend itself. So it was Laffite leading in the Ligier, behind him his teammate Pironi in the Ligier, then Arnoux, and Laffite seemed to be well on his way to victory in the French Grand Prix. And at the end of the lap, with Jacques Laffite still leading, Didier Pironi in the Ligier was ahead of Arnoux, in spite of the fact that everyone had expected the turbocharged Renault to be far the fastest on the very quick Ricard circuit. Cruel luck for Alain Prost, though, out of sixth place and into the pits. Lap 8 out of 54, and Alan Jones had mounted his attack. He had taken third place from Arnoux, and now he was right with Didier Pironi's Ligier. Then, timing his manoeuvre to perfection, he swept from under the Pironi's gearbox and took second place. Two Frenchmen down and one to go, with a gap of some 5 seconds to cut to nothing before he could attack Laffite. So, still very close together at the front, it was a Ligier in the lead, with Laffite driving so smoothly and unruffledly as he always does. The Saudi Leyland Williams of Jones second, Pironi's Ligier third. Then, dropping back, Arnoux' Renault, Piquet's Brabham and Reutemann's Williams in sixth place. And with tens of thousands of Frenchmen cheering him on, Laffite looked good. Lap 11, Jones second, just ahead of Pironi. But it was banzai time for Nelson Piquet, who was right with Arnoux and Reutemann, and using the superb handling of his Gordon Murray-designed Brabham Ford to perfection, he slipped inside Arnoux' Renault to take fourth from the little Frenchman. And that meant 3 points for the championship leader if he could stay there. A great day for the Ligiers and the Williams cars, but yet another disaster day for the Ferraris. For already, race leader Laffite was lapping the reigning world champion Jody Scheckter in a state of misery with tyre problems. And 1978 world champion Mario Andretti was even worse off with yet another retirement. Lap 35, and Jacques Laffite seemed to have gone too fast at the start, for his tyres were overheating, and master tactician Alan Jones, with a string of record laps, including one 7 seconds faster than the record, was right up to the Frenchman. Then a new race leader, Alan Jones in the Williams, poetically revenging himself for the points denied him by a Frenchman for his win in Spain, took the lead in the French Grand Prix. Slipping through on the inside of Jacques Laffite, with Didier Pironi not so very far behind him, and Pironi too starting to gain on Laffite. And with Piquet in a lonely fourth, a race-long battle for fifth was raging between Arnoux in the Renault and Carlos Reutemann in the Saudi Leyland Williams. On lap 42, with Jones extending his lead, Pironi hauled in his teammate Laffite. Both of them needed all the championship points they could get, but were there any team orders for Laffite to lead? Down the longest Grand Prix straight of them all, the Mistral, Pironi got closer and closer to Laffite. And then, zump, out of Laffite's slipstream went Pironi and through into second place. Pironi into second, but just for a terrifying moment it looked as though Laffite was going to slam the door on Pironi. But he didn't. Pironi held his line and his second place. And again, Eddie Cheever, who's had a far from happy 1980 in the Osella, was out of a Grand Prix. The checkered flag ready, the signal for the last lap, and into it, with only 3.6 miles between him and his third win of 1980, went Alan Jones, on his way to an undeniable, unchallengeable and official 9 points, which would give him the lead in the championship. Alan had driven a superb race, driving with his head every inch of the way, passing Arnoux, Pironi and Laffite. But in the closing stages, Didier Pironi made a tremendous charge to cut the gap from 5 seconds down to one which had given him victory if Alan had as much as put a wheel wrong. But of course, Alan is too wily and experienced a race driver to put a wheel wrong, and he didn't. And the impressively reliable Williams brought him home right in the closing stages of the race, passing tail-enders as he went into the last corner to win the French Grand Prix of 1980 with Pironi's Ligier just 4.4 seconds behind him. Victory in the most historic Grand Prix of them all to Alan Jones. Didier Pironi second, Jacques Laffite third, Nelson Piquet fourth, René Arnoux fifth and Carlos Reutemann sixth. A British win for the proud Williams team puts Jones on top in the championship, but only 3 points ahead of Piquet and 5 ahead of Arnoux and Pironi. Alan Jones's day, though, every inch of the way, and with a magnificent form that he's been showing for the whole of 1980,